She was just riding her bike, a simple trip to the gas station. But in an instant, her world twisted. Police surrounded her, voices sharp, eyes suspicious. A routine moment turned tense, heavy with fear and judgment. Why were they targeting her? What had she done to draw this sudden attention? Seconds later, the truth would shatter every expectation, leaving those who questioned her stunned. This isn't just a story about a ride gone wrong. It's a story about assumptions, courage, and secrets no one saw coming. It was a quiet afternoon when Maya set out for a quick ride to the nearby gas station. A disciplined, focused Army officer, she loved the calm of cycling through her neighborhood. Her helmet on, backpack secure, mind clear. She waved at neighbors, enjoying the warm sunlight bouncing off the streets. To everyone, she was just another resident on a regular day following her routine. But beneath the normalcy, the world she moved through carried assumptions she couldn't see yet. Eyes followed, judgments formed in silence. And an ordinary ride was about to become anything but ordinary. Maya pedaled toward the gas station, feeling the breeze on her face, trying to enjoy the ordinary simplicity of her ride. But then she noticed them, 2 police officers standing near the pumps, eyes fixed on her. At first, she thought it was a coincidence. Maybe they were checking the area, maybe nothing at all. But as she got closer, the air changed. Their voices carried sharpness, a tone that made her pulse quicken. "Stop right there," one of them called, stepping into her path. Her heart pounded. She had never done anything wrong, never caused trouble. Yet now, the world seemed to weigh against her, a quiet assumption turning into immediate suspicion. Her uniform, hidden under her casual jacket, meant nothing to them. She was just a black woman on a bike. Their questions came rapid, accusatory, loaded with judgment. "Where are you headed? What's in your bag?" Every answer she gave seemed to fall flat, ignored, or met with more scrutiny. Passers-by glanced at the scene, some uneasy, some turning their heads. The tension tightened like a coil, and Maya felt the sting of every judgment hanging in the air. Her training kicked in, but so did a rising sense of fear. How easily assumptions could escalate, how quickly the ordinary could feel dangerous. Each second stretched, every word exchanged felt like walking on a knife's edge. Then came the moment that made her blood run cold. One officer moved closer, blocking her path, leaning in with a look that spoke volumes, disbelief, suspicion, authority. The other circled, hands on his belt, silent but threatening. Maya's mind raced. How could she reveal who she really was without inflaming the situation further? What could she say that would make them see past the assumptions, past the fear they projected onto her simply because of the color of her skin? The world slowed around her, every glance, every movement magnified. A customer nearby fumbled with their keys, pretending not to notice the confrontation. The gas pumps hissed, cars idled, but Maya was trapped in the small bubble of scrutiny, a private stage where every instinct mattered. She tried to remain calm, her voice steady, but internally anger and disbelief churned. How could something so routine, so mundane, turn into a test of patience, composure, and identity? Just when it seemed the tension might reach a breaking point, a flicker of recognition passed through the eyes of one officer. Something about her stance, her composure, her subtle confidence, something didn't add up. Their suspicion hadn't faded, but curiosity had begun to replace it. And in that fraction of a second, Maya knew she held the key to turning the moment completely on its head. The silence hung, heavy and electric, as if the air itself was waiting for the truth to unfold. And when it did, no one would ever expect what came next. The officers closed in, their eyes sharp, voices low but commanding. Maya's heart raced, each beat echoing the weight of every assumption they'd made about her. She remained calm on the outside, but inside, a storm of fear, frustration, and disbelief churned. How could a simple bike ride turn into a moment where her identity and her very life was questioned? One officer stepped closer, reaching toward her backpack, suspicion written across his face. Maya froze, knowing any sudden move could escalate the situation further. Every training drill, every lesson she had learned in the Army surged to the surface, but none of it mattered if they refused to see past the color of her skin. Then, With a steady breath, she revealed her badge, her uniform beneath the jacket, the emblem of her service shining in the afternoon light. For a fraction of a second, silence fell, stiff, electric, and unbearable. The officer's expression shifted from suspicion to shock, then recognition. The world tilted on its axis in those few heartbeats. "What? You're—" one officer stammered, words failing to match the reality before him. Maya's calm demeanor remained intact, a quiet strength that contrasted sharply with the tension that had gripped the moment only seconds before. The authority they had wielded against her, the judgment that had pinned her in place, now faltered. Time slowed. The bystanders who had glanced nervously now stared in awe, some whispering, others shaking their heads in disbelief. Maya's heart still raced, but now with controlled intensity, a mix of vindication, relief, and quiet triumph. In that instant, the injustice of assumptions collided with the truth of her identity, leaving everyone who had doubted her stunned. And just as the officers realized who they had confronted, Maya lifted her bike slightly, ready to ride away, leaving a question lingering in the air. How many others face this kind of judgment every single day, unseen, unheard, underestimated? Maya finally rode away, her heart still pounding but her mind clear. The tension that had gripped the gas station lingered, a reminder of how quickly fear and judgment could twist an ordinary day. She knew she had faced more than just suspicion. She had confronted a moment shaped by assumptions, by prejudice, and by the silent weight of systemic bias. As she pedaled through the familiar streets, relief mingled with a heavy awareness. This wasn't just about her. For countless others, the color of their skin or the identities they carried were enough to invite suspicion, to invite fear, to invite moments of injustice that left lasting scars. Maya's courage had revealed the truth in an instant, but the underlying reality remained. Bias is subtle, pervasive, and often invisible until it strikes. Yet there was power in visibility. That brief confrontation had challenged assumptions, shaken expectations, and exposed the fragility of judgment based solely on appearance. Every glance she received afterward carried a quiet reminder. Respect and recognition cannot be assumed. They must be seen, felt, and granted. Maya's ride ended, but the story did not. It is a story of courage, of resilience, and of the unspoken battles fought by so many every day. It asks a simple yet profound question. How often do we pause to see beyond what's visible? How often do we challenge the assumptions we make about those around us? And as viewers, we are left to reflect. In a world quick to judge, how can we ensure justice, understanding, and empathy are not reserved for a lucky few, but become a right for all?